For those of you guys that love watching rebuilding franchises with regular rosters, you might want to buy a lottery ticket because today is your lucky day. We are starting a Tennessee Titans franchise. Now, before I get into talking about the Titans and what my plans are for this franchise, I want to tell you guys that this does not mean I'm going to be neglecting the Raiders, because the Raiders, what I'm basically going to do with it is turn it into a highlights-only series. So it's still going to be getting posted fairly regularly, along with the Titans. It's just the Raiders are going to be more highlights videos, pretty much strictly highlights videos. And then, for you guys who love the roster rebuild franchises, you've got the Titans, which will have a mix of broadcasts and highlights. Maybe I'll throw in a few broadcasts for the Raiders. I'm not sure, but as of right now, I want to concentrate on the Titans as my main, and then the Raiders is just like the side highlight thing, also posting semi-regularly though. Now, why did I pick the Tennessee Titans of all teams? One reason, due to my little bit of research that I kind of did for like 5 minutes before I recorded this, was I haven't seen anyone pick them as their franchise team so far in Madden 15. And that is a big part because big thing is that I like to do teams that people already haven't done. So, I mean, if there's like 6 different franchises, of like, let's say there's 6 different 49ers franchises, it's not going to be as interesting if there's 6 different ones to choose from, but if there's only one Tennessee Titans one, it just makes it more unique and also makes it more fun. So, as the little bit of research I've done, from what I can tell, there's no other Titans for Madden 15. Now, if someone makes it after I make this, oh well, it doesn't really bother me. It doesn't really bother me at all, to be honest, but I'm just saying that as of right now, it's the only one that I'm aware of. 2. In my opinion, the Titans are really the only rebuilding project. They're the only true rebuilding project, in my opinion. They have Jarrell Casey, defensive tackle, Kendall Wright at wide receiver, Jason McCourty at corner, Derek Morgan at left end, Akeem Ayers at outside linebacker. And those are really it. That's really it for the only long-term, definite pieces for this team. That's it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 guys. That's it. Those are the only guys who are long-term pieces, in my opinion, of this team. Everyone else has to earn their spot as a long-term player for this team, or they'll just be what I like to call a stopgap, where they're just filling the gap until we get someone who is the long-term solution. And there's also another catch to this Titans franchise. Buddy Garrity will be the new owner of the Tennessee Titans. And Buddy Garrity is a longtime booster for the Dillon Panthers high school football team, and he's also owner of Buddy Garrity Auto Dealership, and he will now be the owner of an NFL franchise. Now, the Titans have a history of being in Texas from their time in Houston being the Houston Oilers, and now they've got some good old Texas flair in the front office with Buddy Garrity. Now let's take a look at the actual roster for the Titans. The QB situation it's pretty poor, to be honest. Jake Locker, as of right now, is going to be the start. In real life, the Tennessee Titans, they still have faith in him. He's their guy in real life. He's my guy to start things off. Even though he's unproven, he hasn't really done anything since he came in the NFL. They spent him in the first round, but he hasn't done anything since he came in the NFL, to be honest. And it seems like he's made of glass. He gets injured every year. He might as well just be made of glass, and that's something I'm definitely concerned about with Jake Locker. And the number 2 guy, who I hope could be the future at quarterback for this team, is Zach Mettenberger. He was a late-round draft pick this year. He's going to be a rookie, and he came out of LSU. Now, the only thing about Zach Mettenberger that makes him have a bad overall is that he doesn't have good awareness, which, with some game prep, which is a great addition to this game, we can get that up no problem. But his throw power is only slightly worse than Jake Locker. He has better accuracy, short, medium, and deep, especially deep, because Jake Locker's is terrible deep. And the only really downside to him is that he's not as mobile, and he just can't throw on the run as good as Jake Locker, but we can work with that. And he does really have a high ceiling because he's a late-round guy. He's going to have a motor to prove himself, so that's definitely going to work in my favor, that he's going to come out of nowhere, and hopefully he can be the long-term solution at quarterback. If Jake Locker can't get it done, Zach Mettenberger can step up. Now, that probably won't be this season. It might, I don't know. Now for the halfbacks, Bishop Sankey will be my starter. He will be the starter for the most of the season as long as he doesn't just shit the bed and just doesn't do well for me. Because if Bishop Sankey doesn't do well, who is really, to be honest, this year's draft class was nothing outstanding at running back, and it's pretty much the same for Sankey. He doesn't really have any outstanding attributes that just like, wow, that guy's amazing. He's not the fastest, he's not the most agile, he's just kind of a jack of all trades. He can't really truck people, he can't break tackles, but he's good, but he's not great either, and that's something that I'm kind of concerned about. So maybe he's not the long-term solution, but he is the solution for this season. At least I'm hoping he's going to be. But if he's not, we've got Sean Green and Leon Washington as backups. And Jet fans, you guys remember these two players. Sean Green, he fits my style of what I like to have in a running back. A between-the-tackles type guy who fights for extra yardage and just runs through people. That's what I like to have as a running back, and that's the definition of Sean Green. Leon Washington isn't bad either. He's going to be starting the season as my kick returner guy. Punt returner will be Dexter McCluster, but kick returns will be Leon Washington. And he can also be a guy who can come off the bench with fresh legs, and he can make plays with his speed in open field. Now for other positions that are worth mentioning. Starting tight end Delaney Walker. I personally love Delaney Walker. As you guys probably know, I am a big Niners fan, always have been. I've been watching the Niners since as long as I can remember. And Delaney Walker, for as long as I can remember, was the backup tight end to Vernon Davis. Ever since Vernon Davis came to the league, Delaney Walker was his backup. Before we had Vernon Davis, Delaney Walker was that guy's backup too. At least I'm pretty sure he was. But the point is that Delaney Walker, for the majority of his career, has been the number 2. He's never had the option to be the number 1 tight end. But here in Tennessee, he is the number 1 tight end, and I'm looking forward to what he's going to do for me. And I know I'm going to be looking for him a lot this season, and I'm hoping he can step up to the plate and actually play well. Next position to mention, young offensive line pieces. We already have guys like Michael Roos at left tackle, who's a veteran. He's a solid left tackle. But now we've got at right guard, who was last year's 10th overall pick by the Titans, out of Alabama, Chance Warmack. He's an 80 overall. He's just going to keep getting better. He's young. He's got a lot of ceiling. He's a good guard. And then at right tackle, we have this year's 11th overall pick out of Michigan, as in Taylor Lewan or Lewin. However you pronounce that, let me know in the comments if you know how to pronounce it, because I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce it one way or another. But that's who it is. It's Taylor Lewan, however you say it. And those are two very good offensive line pieces. 2 top 15 picks. They're great guys to have, and they're great guys that I'm going to be able to develop to be key pieces of this offensive line. Now, right tackle, we don't just have Lewan, we also have Michael Oher. But I mean, I want to give Lewan a shot because he's the young guy and he has a chance to prove himself. Now, the Titans also have some pretty good safeties at Michael Griffin at free safety and Bernard Pollard at strong safety. Now, the thing about Michael Griffin at the free spot is he's just good. He's good. He's not great. He's not elite, but he's not bad. So he's a guy who can make the tackles. He's decent in coverage. He can hit people hard. He's an all-around good free safety, but him and Bernard Pollard are both 29 years old, so that's a question. How long will I want to keep a guy who's 29 years old, who's going to be 30 going into next season, on the team? And how long are they going to even be around in the league to begin with? But how long do I want to have a guy on the team like that? Because with rebuilding, you don't want to keep people who are really too old on the team. But I mean, maybe if we keep them around for a few years just to be there while we groom someone else, that's also an option. But Bernard Pollard is probably going to be around for longer than Griffin, I'm thinking, because Pollard is better than Griffin. He's better than Griffin, and he's better than good, but he's not exactly great or elite, but he's definitely better than good. And the thing about Bernard Pollard that I love about him is he lays down the hammer. And that's what I love about strong safety. It's what I love about any safety. If you can absolutely lay people out, you have a chance to have a special place in my heart. Because I just love guys like that. I love Dante Whitner when he was with the Niners. Bernard Pollard's always had a history of kind of like just cheap shots, like Brandon Merriweather type stuff. But he can lay down the hammer. And that's what I like. I like guys who, if you throw over the middle, that guy you just threw over the middle to is now going to realize that Bernard Pollard, or whoever I have at safety, is now going to basically send him into a new universe. And now as far as improving the team as of right now, when I looked at this roster, I noticed two things that I immediately need to change. One, the kicker. The kicker was like a 57 overall. I did not want that. And when I went to free agency, I saw Rob Baronis was there. Rob Baronis, longtime kicker of the Tennessee Titans. He was in free agency, so I brought him back to the Titans. Cornerbacks, another position that was very bad. Besides Jason McCourty, it dropped down to like a 73 overall guy who I don't even know. Then it's like a 68 overall guy. So that is not good even slightly. So I went to free agency and I signed Asante Samuel. Now the thing about Samuel is he's been a great core in the past. He's still got really good stats. But I believe he's 32, 33. He's like mid-30s, early 30s, something like that. And he's not going to be around for too much long. He's not going to be great for too much longer. And he's what I like to call a stopgap. He's not long-term. He's just kind of there to stop the gap. That's why I call it a stopgap. He's just there to stop the gap until we bring someone along who can fill that gap or can fill that role. So the general plan with the Titans is basically to build with the young pieces that were already in the team. Guys like Mettenberger at quarterback, Bishop Sankey, Kendall Wright considers as a young piece, Akeem Ayers is a young piece, Derek Morgan is a young piece, even McCourty is a young piece. Guys like Chance Warmack, Taylor Lewin, those are all young pieces who are already on the team who could play roles, and those are just guys who are thinking off right at the top of my head. I'm sure there's other guys who are second stringers or guys who are still young and can play a role. But then also, I also want to draft talent to immediately help out. So when I draft, I'm not going to be drafting saying, oh, well, this guy could be good for us 3 years down the line. No. I'm looking at guys who I could put in there as starter, as a role guy, his first year in the league, and he can impact. He can make an impact on the field, and that's what we need with the Titans because we just need anything to help out this team anywhere, to be honest. And then the third part of the general plan being sign veterans in the offseason to help out where needed. So let's just say that we, like I said with corners, we're going to need someone to be a stopgap for corner once Asante Samuel starts falling down. Whether that's in the draft that we do that, or if we don't do it in the draft, then we sign a veteran in the offseason or just someone who can fill the gap. Maybe even quarterback. If Zach Mettenberger isn't ready by Season 2 and Jake Locker did not play well in Season 1, hell, I'll go into free agency and sign someone like, I don't even know, Alex Smith is signed through a few seasons, but somebody like that. I mean, I would not put it past me to sign someone who can just fill the gap for like 1 or 2 years while Mettenberger's learning. And that's generally the plan of what to do with the veterans. So it's build the young pieces already on the team, draft the talent to immediately help out in the offseason, and then sign veterans to help out as a stopgap where needed. And that's generally the plan of what to do with this team. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for this intro for the Tennessee Titans. The Week 1 opener at the Kansas State Chiefs will be out either most likely tomorrow, if not tomorrow, then definitely Tuesday. So keep an eye out for that. And with that being said, I'm JerseyBorn, and I'm saying goodbye.